Welcome to my presentation. This is Bridget Lai, and my final presentation is on my project, a usability study for an evidence-based practice literature critique e-form. Mobile learning, as described by Lauris, is allowing for the information delivery with assistance of non-tethered mobile devices. This allows for the delivery of information in more convenient ways and leverages convenience for the learners. This particular project allows for the transformation of current traditional processes into a method that allows for ease of access across groups, as well as increasing inconvenience for completing tasks for the participants. A little bit of background, my project is developing an e-form for a literature critique form that's utilized in an evidence-based practice project that is currently offered. This course is currently offered at Hawaii Pacific Health. This course is offered as a face-to-face offering and currently does not have any e-learning options. However, we are working to make those available. One of the steps of that is this particular portion of the course in which individuals evaluate literature and place their literature evaluations into a literature matrix to determine what recommendations they should make for changes in evidence-based practice. The purpose of my usability study was to evaluate the effects for the participants at Hawaii Pacific Health on the effectiveness of a mobile application allowing for compiling of their literature critique. My design of my project involved drafting an e-form, getting participants to utilize the form, and then revising the form based on participant feedback. My research questions include: how easy or difficult is it to access the mobile literature critique form? How easy or difficult is it to complete the fields in the literature critique form? And how easy or difficult is it to access the compilation view of the data placed in the literature critique form? I would use a Likert scale for those evaluations, as indicated on this slide, rating it 1 extremely challenging to 5 extremely easy. To paint a clear picture for you, I want to describe the old school method for this process. Students or participants in the course would search thousands of e-journals using an e-library database search tool. A lot of times they'll use PubMed or CINAHL to search nursing journals. They will select journal articles that are relevant to their particular topic or research question. And for each of those articles, they would fill out a pretty labor-intensive, old-fashioned pen and paper research critique form, where they would include fields like the study design, the data collection process, the limitations of the study, and the level of evidence. Once they had all of their articles evaluated, and this could be anywhere from 5 to 20 articles depending on the topic and the research database available, they would take their paper research critique forms and manually type in the data onto an Excel spreadsheet. This Excel spreadsheet allowed them to sort their data by evidence level or by year, etc. The prototype for my project is actually a Google Forms research critique form. So participants utilizing the form would need to have a Google account, Gmail access, and they would receive this research critique form link, at which point they could enter their project name, author, and all of those fields located on that manual form. In my original project design, the idea was to have the participants complete the research critique form, and I would, as the instructor for the course, sort out all of the responses that were located on the Google Forms composite, which is located in Google Sheets. The problem with this design is that it requires actually an extra step for the instructor to sort the findings based on project name, as you can see indicated in the second column on this Google Sheet. I'll talk a little bit later about how I decided to change my project based on this finding, having my critical friends in the class review my project. One of the things that I learned in my feedback and results that I got from my critical friends was that clear communication is important, as well as the importance of using the right target audience. None of my critical friends have taken an evidence-based practice course for nurses before, and none of them were familiar with the process of finding articles, taking all of your articles, and filling out a paper form. It was summarized briefly in my online presentations, but it was clear based on the feedback that I received that they didn't understand the intent of the form, as there was some confusion in and around some of the fields that they needed to fill out. Additionally, due to two of our actual evidence-based practice classes at HPH getting rescheduled and myself being out of town, I was unable to conduct my actual usability testing as I had originally intended. And as I mentioned before, this just brief beta test with my critical friends in my group allowed me to consider changing my distribution process for the compilation document that will live in Google Sheets. What I discovered was if I were able to create a unique Google form for each group, they could then have access to their own Google Sheets summary. So for example, in an evidence-based practice course, we might have 3 projects going on. One project's working on mobility and labor, one project is working on fall risk assessment, and another project is working on food selection for diabetic management. The group that's working on fall risk assessment would receive a link for the research critique form, fall risk assessment, and a unique link for their Google Sheets document that summarizes all of their literature reviews. I think that in the long run, this will actually save time for both the participants as well as significant amount of time savings for the instructor. Overall feedback for the tool was that it was relatively easy to use, it was easy to understand, people were able to access it from multiple devices, it was accessed from both laptops, tablets, and mobile devices. Through my critical friends and one pseudo-critical friend that I kind of cornered at work and had him just try it out as a prior participant in an evidence-based practice course. My future goals include implementation and testing of this actual product with our upcoming evidence-based practice class scheduled to start December 6th at HPH, and further refinement of managing those individual group informations, which would involve development of a unique form, which, lucky for us through Google Docs, is only requires copying that form over and saving it with a new title for each individual group. This will allow, again, for ease of use for the participants. It prevents double work because right now they're filling out paper forms and then typing that information in, and also allows them to do it through multiple different devices, which is key to mobile learning, really allowing for that various levels of accessing the particular tools. So participants could use their phones, they could use tablets or computers. That's a summary of my project. Thanks for listening. Hope you've all had a great semester and happy holidays.